bringing to you all a little laughter for the soul as well as some candy for the eye. Hey, that's a little treat. You're welcome.
I first knew that I wanted to do comedy and that comedy could be an effective, life-changing tool when I made my sister laugh. When I don't know, I think she was like maybe 2. I was like 4 or 5, and I just remember cracking a joke and she just had a belly laugh that continued and continued, and it made me feel as good as I've ever felt. And I knew that laughter was such a powerful healing tool. And from that moment on, I can honestly say I always just wanted to make people laugh, and no matter what I did. I just didn't think I could do it professionally. I got told over and over again, you'll never make a living. You know, it's hard to make a living in entertainment in Canada in general. You definitely can't do it as a stand-up comic. You know, and so I went down other routes. And then when a door opened for me to step in to do it professionally, and I realized that I could do it, that was the game changer. That was, it was like, there was no turning back at that point too. Once I knew it was possible, it was all on. And now going into a room and having people not only laugh, but at the end of the show come up to me and say, I needed that. That's probably what drives me to continue to do it, is the fact that a lot of people want comedy, but there's always a group of people out there that need it. And that's super cool. What would fall apart in my life if I stopped doing comedy? The thing that would fall apart if I wasn't doing live comedy professionally would be I would lose peace in my regular life. Because by not having the outlet on stage, I then feel the need to be always on 24/7, because that would be my outlet. And my mom used to say I was the most annoying person in the world because I just never shut off. And now I can chill and relax and experience the peace in regular life. I don't feel like I need to be on all the time. And I think that's incredibly valuable. And I never used to have that because I always had to entertain. And now I've got my outlet. Now life, I can just settle in, relax, lay on a hammock on the beach if I want to, without feeling I need to entertain the person beside me. I think, actually, that no one's ever asked me that before. That's, I would hate to lose that. I would hate to lose that.
And we see on your cup there, it says, Timmy Says I Can.
Yeah.
How did that come to play? Like, where did that catchphrase come from?
That came coming out of COVID. I thought I had lost everything in COVID. At that point, I had been doing comedy at that point for 15 years professionally, when COVID hit. And I thought I didn't think it was going to bounce back. I was scared to death. I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought the world was going to be like this forever. And when the door started to open to perform live again, I realized how close I was to losing everything. And people were saying, you know, you can't restart this. You lost so much financially. You just can't get back into this. People, and just going back to all the years ago where people said you can't make a living doing stand-up comedy. And when I came out of COVID, I remember I started to talk on stage about people telling you can't do things. And that here I am, I've overcome kind of one of the biggest hurdles when you're live entertainment. COVID was like the biggest hurdle you could have had. And I came out on the other side and I restarted it. I restarted doing live performance. I restarted my comedy tour. And Timmy Says I Can was based on that principle of like, follow your dreams, push through. Don't listen to the naysayers, the dream squashers, as I call them. And if anybody ever comes to you and says, you can't do it, you can't follow your dream, you can't learn that task, I tell people, Timmy says you can. And so it's become a catchphrase for my own life and for others who have really gravitated that every time I perform, I take at least one moment to say, right now you are looking at a man who is following his dream when people said he couldn't. And so if anybody ever says that to you, you look them straight in the eye and you say, Timmy Says I Can. That's what it is. It's follow your dreams. Cheers to doing the things that you want to do. Why is there orange juice in the glass is... I used to drink orange juice and ginger ale when I first started the tour. And I used to get so worn down on the road. And so I don't know if it was a placebo effect or whatever, but I'd always heard, ginger ale, calm the stomach, the orange juice, the vitamin C, it would be a healthy boost. So I used to drink orange juice, ginger ale all the time. And because I perform in a suit in honor of my idol, Bob Newhart, and that generation where they were always in suits, I just didn't think a bottle of water looked good with a suit. And so I started to drink out of a glass in honor of Dean Martin, who always had a glass in his hand. And just naturally, because I used to drink orange juice, ginger ale mixes anyways, I began to drink orange juice in the glass just because I would have it on stage. Eventually the ginger ale left because I started to burp on stage way too much. And then I realized that the orange juice just looked really good. It popped on photos. I very rarely drink the orange juice now. I don't think I've really drank the orange juice on stage in well over a decade. And it's just branding now. When you come into a comedy show and you see an orange juice glass sitting on a stool, it's a Timmy Boyle show. And I think if I ever walked onto a stage without the orange juice in a glass, people would, my regular fans would notice it right away and be like, what's wrong? And so it's branding at this point. But it started out in the whole look and feel of it was in honor of a generation past of performers who just had a little bit of class in the midst of making up these weird, quirky stories. I think most comics will tell you, we step into comedy because a lot of us were insecure, and comedy kind of gave us that voice. And when I first started, I was trying to be heard by anybody who wanted comedy. I just wanted attention. Attention was, I was always looking for attention, and comedy allowed me to do that. But ultimately, I want to be found and heard by people who not just want comedy, but need it. I grew up in the church, and there were so many people, they never went into a comedy club. They didn't watch a lot of comedy because everything was so uncomfortable for them. And I just knew there was an audience out there that wanted high quality, clean entertainment, something that regardless of age, race, gender, religious belief, people could come into one room and laugh together, where the grandmother can sit with the granddaughter. And so I think the people that I want to perform and to see me, I don't think I need like a big producer to see me as much as I would love to, do TV. I'm a TV kid, a sitcom kid. All of my comedic sensibilities come from sitcoms, not like comedy specials. But I think I get so thrilled about being in a room. I just want people out there who are like, I want clean comedy. I want to sit somewhere with my kid and enjoy a comedy experience, but I don't know where to go. Those are the people that I want to find, that I want to find me and to be able to watch what I do. Does that answer the question? Comedy protects me, I think, from the overwhelming sense of despair that many people in our world face. Being able to see life through, I think, an internal comedic lens that I don't think everybody has is a gift, and I don't take it for granted. But being able to walk out into the world and see funniness in things where other people go, that's so dismal. How do you see anything funny in that? And we just do. But I think it protects, because I go through life going, man, I love life. Life constantly gives me laughter and joy. Even in the roller coaster ride of it. And I see the roller coaster as fun. And then other people just seem to be burdened down. And I have stresses in life. Doing this job is stressful. But I think ultimately, seeing the life through the lens that I do and being able to share those stories and that laughter with others keeps me grounded in a sense of life is fun. Life is interesting. It's funny. And I think it keeps me from maybe being depressed as well as providing other people an opportunity to have a break from life. I think it gives me a break from life way more than it would if it wasn't here. I think the thing that I love about comedy is the fact that when I go into any given room, anything could go wrong. That kind of drives me. Maybe it's a sick thing, but the fact that you can take the same material and have it figuratively go from standing ovations to crickets night after night, and I think that's what I would tell people. If you want to get into comedy, just understand that anytime you step up on the stage, it could go horribly wrong. And it's not always this great experience because comedy is so subjective. So your soul can be crushed when you have one job, and that's to make people laugh, and they don't. It can be soul crushing. And I had to overcome that and emotionally distance myself. So that's what I would say. If you wanted to get into comedy, just understand it can be soul crushing, and it's not going to be easy, but it is completely fulfilling if you can ride that wave in. The funniest joke I've ever heard is very tough to nail down. I will tell you though that people who know me, if they hear me do a gut laugh, then it was really funny, because I actually don't laugh a lot at what other people are saying. But if it is funny, it'll hit me. But to this day, I still crack up when in like a TV show or a movie, when a young, healthy, grown adult runs and pushes a child to the ground, or kicks the cane out of an elderly woman because they're trying to save, like the George Costanza moment in Seinfeld. Those moments, like when Adam Sandler throwing a ball at a kid, and when adults go to those extremes, like even right now, it just makes me those moments crack me up. In terms of the funniest joke I've ever told, there's been moments where the crowd has lost it, and I've thoroughly enjoyed those moments, and I can't remember which joke it is, but I will go back to I'll go back to that moment. I think the funniest joke I probably ever told was the one, and I don't know what it was, but I told my sister when she was young, and because I don't think to this day I've heard a gut laugh that just bubbled over and continuously went. And it was because of that I went into comedy. So that joke must have been hilarious.
I think your audience wants to see how fast you can drink that glass of orange juice.
So I almost never drink it on stage, but if my audience, if you think the audience wants to see it, I've always said this. Ever since the time when I used to fall down the stairs on purpose when guests would come to the house, the door would open and I'd come rolling down those stairs. You'd do anything for comedy. So we want to see how fast we can take it down. Here we go. Good to the last drop. Timmy Says I Can.